I'm Nimrod, and I'll give a joint talk along with Meital and Shir that's sitting right there. This is about work we did with our advisor, Ran Yahav. Okay, so let's get to the talk. So here's the outline. We're going to introduce the problem and talk about our motivation for doing this research. Then we'll get to the fun part, the attacks. You'll see two demos here of two attacks. We'll talk a little bit about defense because no one cares about that, right? And then we'll get to the summary. Okay, so navigation, like most content, is becoming social, right? So you have Waze, which is this social navigation app that has over 50 million users, maybe even more right now. And they're crowdsourcing all of their data, right? They're taking the route information, the congestion, the timing, even the maps themselves. They're taking all of that from the crowd. But the crowd is oblivious to the consequences of this crowdsourcing process. So we asked the questions, what kind of attacks can be applied here in this context? And how to mitigate those attacks. So here's a little origin story for you. So that's me. I'm a graduate student at my school. So I had this idea while I was driving out of congested Jerusalem with Waze on a Thursday afternoon. And I was thinking to myself, well, if I could make Waze think that there's a traffic jam in my route, then it would send all the other people on other routes, right? And I'll have the road for myself, and it would be great. Because in Israel, everyone uses Waze. So I thought about it. And as a joke, I called my advisor, which is this guy, and told him. Now he's a very serious guy, as you can see, so he took this a bit too seriously. And then enter undergrads, as you can see. Now there's an asterisk there because they're graduate students now, so. At the time, but they took this on as a project, and the result was this. Okay, so we had some success in performing that attack, and we got some attention from the media, which is nice. And this was about a year ago. Okay, so let's talk about what happened and what we did. So just to be scientific about it, our research goal was to successfully apply a Sybil attack to social navigation. Now, a Sybil attack is where an attacker gains a disproportionate amount of influence in a reputation system, and it's named after this book, Sybil, which is about a woman with 16 different personalities. Interesting read. Here's some motivation. Let's go to the press for motivation. So there are these guys from LA. They're really pissed off, right? They bought nice houses in quiet neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and then Waze comes in, and because LA is so congested, they started sending people through routes that go through their neighborhoods, and they're really angry about it. So they're trying to create fake congestions, fake traffic jams to make people get out of their neighborhood. Really nice guys. They're not very successful, by the way. They couldn't really do it. Another more serious issue is police forces in the United States. They're actually accusing Waze of helping criminals because in Waze you can report locations of cop cars. And so they're really angry about it, and they also even started actively reporting false locations of cop cars, which is kind of ironic because it's kind of illegal to do that. But yeah, and another motivation, this would probably apply to the crowd here. It's always nice, right, when someone says, no, you can't do this to our app or to our code, to come and say, yes, we can, haha. Okay, so here's some motivation for you. Okay, so let's get to the fun part, the attacks. In the first attack, which will be presented by Meital, we'll see the creation of false congestion and will affect routing. Now, this was published a year ago, but you will see the specifics for the first time here. So without further ado, Meital.
Thank you. Hello? Okay, thank you, Nimrod. Everyone, my name is Meital, and I'm going to present the first attack. Let's start with 3 short videos that illustrate what we did, and then I will try to show you how we did it. All these videos were taken in Israel, and Waze can only show you the local language in their maps. So if someone wonders what is this weird language, the answer is Hebrew. So the first video shows our campus, the Technion campus, in an ordinary day. It also shows Waze response to our request to get to the other side of the Technion. So let's see it. It should be music on. Okay, so when the road was empty, Waze navigated us through the short road. Its length is 0.8 miles. The next video was taken after we executed our attack. A traffic jam was created. And now, let's see what Waze does when we want to reach to the same point, the other side of the campus, but the short road is allegedly loaded due to our congestion. The navigation was changed. Waze no longer directed us through the short road. The new suggestion is 0.4 miles more than before. We affected the whole area routing options. And now, to see how it works, give me a second to open my virtual machine and start the process. So just a second. Okay. Okay, so the first step of this attack is creation of big army of fake Waze users. We use the out-of-the-box Android emulators, which are supplied with the standard Android development kit. These emulators are easy to use, but are unstable and may crash from time to time. This fact did not affect our attack because we always created more emulators than we actually needed. If you'll take a look at the screen now, you will see that I've already initialized 3 emulators and supplied them with Waze and our traffic application. This is only a mini demonstration that with a smaller configuration than the one that actually needed in order to create the traffic jam, but it shows the bot creation process. We have a larger group of emulators running on a remote computer back there at home, and we will get back to it later on. So to control and command these emulators, we use the Android debugger bridge, or just ADB, that gives us the ability to communicate with them. We can control them to perform any desired task, from writing a text, like you will see in the screen in a second, or tapping the screen. Waze actually helped us in facilitating this attack. They logged the name of each new activity. Activity is a screen, so they logged it. So we can easily track the status of our action and see if we can move on or should fix something. Another interesting thing is that Waze has a reputation system that ranks its user by the seniority. We found out that even a baby Wazer, which is a new Waze user, can affect the map and create a traffic jam. So to harden the process of classification of our Wazers as malicious, we decided to register with random information in each time, so each attack was actually carried by a brand new army of bots. In a second, we will have 3 fresh new Wazers that are ready to use and carry this attack. We won't see the maps yet because the emulators don't have any location set. To supply this information, we created our own app that gives the emulators information about the location. But when a new location is supplied, Waze has to calibrate its maps in order to show them. This process is taking a while, so I'll give you a glimpse now to our remote computer where the location is already set. So just a second. No. Okay, so here you can see 12 emulators running inside the Technion campus. we can control them to drive in any movement pattern. Let's try to change the speed to 300 kilometers per hour. Don't try it at home, of course, just a second. The internet is pretty... Oh. No. Oh, this one. Okay, so they changed their speed now. We found out that Waze algorithm is a relative one, means that we should learn the app that it is okay to drive fast inside the desired location. In this case, our campus. So we set the speed to be 100 kilometers per hour, and then the driver was programmed to drive with a gradual slowdown fragmented by stops, like in a real traffic jam. And it was the movement pattern that actually created that traffic jam. And now I really wanted to show you the live map with a red route, which is designed for heavy conjunction that our emulators was just create. However, Waze has finally changed something in its algorithm in the last few weeks, and this attack is no longer possible under the same configurations. We believe that we have a big part of this change, and we're kind of happy about it. And now let's go back to Nimrod that will explain us more about the implications of this attack. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so thank you, Meital. Let's try to go back to, yep, there it is. Okay, great. So a bit of responses for our work. So apparently we have lost our moral compass. This is one of the responses we got. And we are no different than going out as criminals and blocking roads. And why is the police not swiftly investigating? So that's always nice to hear that, right? Okay, so regarding disclosure, we notified Waze of the attack roughly 2 months before publishing it. We saw a change in the registration process, which kind of correlates to what we suggested as a mitigation. Roughly 6 months after publishing, the attack was still possible, 8 months later. A few weeks back, which is 6 months after that, we saw that they have patched the attack finally. Great timing, right? And in the small setting of our experiment, it was no longer possible, which, as Meital said, is nice. So let's talk about the implications of this kind of attack. So I've categorized this in 4 categories. The first one is national. So when you think about it, Waze actually helps a country be more efficient if enough people use it, because it's a way for drivers to coordinate the use of roads between one another. So when you render a system like that useless, then you're actually making the people waste time and fuel and pollute. So this has an implication in the national sense that it really makes the country a bit more efficient. So this is a consideration. Now, in the financial sense of it, well, you can do all sorts of stuff, right? You can congest free roads in case you're an owner of a toll road. You can make everyone go through your road. You can make people drive by your restaurant or your sign or your business, or you can just create congestion near the competition. Or just people that you don't like. Now, in the criminal sense, so let's say that you're a hitman, but you're a really lazy hitman, right? You don't want to drive down to the guy and check him out and do all the work. So you'll just lead him down the road where you're sitting, you're having your coffee. He will come over to you. So that's always nice for lazy criminals. And in the personal sense, well, there's the initial idea. And there's also, right, helping those nice fellows from Los Angeles to get the people out of their neighborhood. So these are some of the implications, and we believe they are substantial. Okay, so the second attack, this will be presented by Shir. In this attack, we will be tracking users. We're really excited about this because this is the first time it's being published here at Black Hat. Never seen before, so without further ado, Shir.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Shir Yadid, and I will present the user tracking demonstration. So first of all, let's see it in action. So let's switch to the other computer. I hope this works. It worked a minute ago, but the internet connection here is not quite well. So you can see we have a tablet and a webcam, and we change our location. It takes a while. Then it finds users on the screen, but I can see that the internet connection is not working so well. So I'll just start the backup video. Can you switch to the other computer? No. So you can see that we change the location. Then we find users on the screen. And then we press on these users. And each time we press on a user, appears a pop-up. And this pop-up contains information about the user. And we extract this information and we save it in our database with the user location. So again, we change the location. We find users on the screen, and then we press on them. Okay? So let's go through how this is done. Okay, so we already told you how we can control our location in order to create a fake traffic jam. Now we use the same ability in order to track other users. So in order to find users on the screen, we use image processing. So the first step is to take a screenshot and then pull it from the device. So all the image processing is done on the computer. And the image processing technique is called template matching, is when you have a template image and you try to match it to smaller parts of your target image. So our initial thought was that the Waze shape, I'll zoom in for you, okay? Our initial thought that was the Waze shape should be our template image. You see, it has kind of unique shape, but this didn't work so well because the shape is changing a little bit depending on the position of the Wazer on the screen. And you can see that some Wazers have these objects that hide part of their shape. So this wasn't such a good idea. But there is something that is not changing, and this is our template image. We use the Wazer smile. So you know, you're never fully dressed without a smile. So it does help us to find lots of users. Again, I'll zoom in for you. You see that we got both Wazers. Now that we have their position, we can press on them, and then a pop-up appears. Again, I'll zoom in. You can see the username, points, rank, and the time they joined the app. The speed is not so accurate, so we're not using it. But there is a problem, and the problem is that we don't know in advance where the pop-up will appear. So we need to find the position of the information that we would like to extract. And the way to do that is by using the same technique we used before, the template matching. This time, we try to match the words points, rank, and join, because they appear within the pop-up in the same position almost every time, except for a single case that we handle differently. So now we can use the relative distance in order to cut the image and get part of the image that contain the information. Again, this is the image. We only cut the image, so we need to extract the information. And the way to do that is by using optical character recognition, OCR. And it's not completely accurate, but it's quite well. So sorry, Hector, for exposing you. Now, this was only a single user from a single device, but we actually have 16 back in our office. So all this information is saved in our database, and the way to display it is by a website. So I'll try and log in. Again, the internet connection is not so well, so I just hope. Okay, so you can see that we can filter by name, time, and the area. And I have some examples. So this is the first example. This is from California. And the second example, this is from Israel. And you can see that, Okay, you can see that the names are randomized, so we're not exposing anyone. But the path is a real path. So thank you all, and let's get Nimrod back.
Okay. Wait. Well, thank you to Shir, of course. Well, the talk is not quite over yet. Okay, so let's talk about the implications, and then we'll summarize. So this is kind of a two-way street, pun intended. You can track location once you have someone's handle, right? You can follow him and get his location, as we've seen. But it's not that easy from knowing just a person what is their Waze handle, right? You can't just walk up to a guy in the street and say, like, are you Hector, that Hector guy? So you can't really do that. But you could use it the other way around, right? If you know where someone lives, where he works, the route that he takes, you can place our bots on that route and see which Wazers keep reoccurring there. And then after a sufficient amount of time, you will find the handle of the guy that you're looking for. So you can use it actually to infer the Waze handle and then use it to track him. Right? You can also infer persons of interest. You can just, for instance, put all our bots near a parliament, and then you'll see that the people that keep coming back there are probably ministers or their drivers at least, which is just as good. So there are a lot of uses for this attack. Another nice thing about this attack is that it can be focused, right? We can focus our bots on the location that we're tracking and really get a better refresh rate for the person that we want to track. And another nice thing is that it kind of completes the read-write loop, right? Because if spoofing a traffic jam is writing, then tracking is reading. And this gives the attacker a lot of control over the application, a lot of users, and over the users, so this is really powerful. Okay, real quick about mitigating attacks. So we'll start with the tracking attack. Waze actually allows you already to opt out of the live map, but this is not the default option, and people are not really aware to what happens if they don't opt out. And for the spoofing attack, well, we suggested a mitigation that uses carrier information, meaning the phone number, the SIM information. We saw that Waze started doing this after the attack became public and after we gave them our material. So that's nice, and there's a lot more details here, and the attack, you can read it all in the white paper. Okay, so to summarize, we've shown that a Sybil attack on social navigation is possible, and we demonstrated here a spoofing and tracking attack. What's nice about our attack is that it requires no reverse engineering. We just use the Waze mechanism as a benign user against itself. We were able to track thousands of users and create false congestion. This has vast implications. We suggested mitigation that we suspect was adapted by Waze. We were not sure. Great, so to conclude, users should beware of trusting social applications blindly, even reliable ones, and those applications should put more effort into security. And another personal conclusion for me was that undergrads can be useful. Like, who would have thought about it, right? But then again, are they really undergrads? They're graduate students now, so you can't really know. Okay, so that's it. We'll take questions now, and thank you very much for listening. Yeah.
Did you have any actual conversations with Waze, or did you just send them an email and wait for a long reply?
Yeah, that's a nice question. So we notified them 2 months in advance with the mail. We got one single response for the whole thing, which was like one line of text, which was like, "Thanks, we're looking into that." And other than that, they did not respond to our queries. But we believe that they did use the results, so that's nice. Okay.
Sorry, follow-on question.
Yes, follow.
My understanding of Waze is that the way it can be effective is if everybody blindly trusts it. So if people stop blindly trusting it, doesn't that make it less effective?
Well, you don't have to blindly. Well, you need to trust it, but it needs to give you a reason to trust it, right? It needs to at least be able to overcome some very minimal standards for security. It should be able to somehow verify that you are a human user, say for using your phone number or at least using Facebook account, something. And what we showed is that they really weren't using even that. So we're saying, yes, of course, you should trust Waze in order for it to work, but they should earn the trust, yes. Okay, yes.
So my understanding is that when a traffic jam is reported, Waze will then monitor the speed of other Waze users along that road. So given your attack, if there was more Waze users on that road reporting normal speed, would that cause your attack to fail?
Yeah, so if I got the question correctly, that's a good question, because we checked what happens if you have like a lot of slow driving bots along with fast driving bots in the same area. And in our experiments, it always showed that the slow bots win. So if you have a critical mass of bots that's driving slow, then they would create a traffic jam in the application. And by the way, reporting a traffic jam, you have an interface for that. It doesn't create a traffic jam. It it infers it from the driving pattern.
Okay, so you don't need to actually report a traffic jam. It monitors your speed all the time regardless. Okay.
Exactly, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
When you extracted the information from the small icons of the users, did you notice a communication between the application and the server, or is it all the information on all the users that are visible on the map at the specific moment already exist in the application?
So I think you're asking if the data is retrieved upon a click, or is it already there?
Yeah. Yes.
Do we have? Actually, we would not check that. So we just use. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's. I don't think that it's completely real time. It has some relative delay, a small delay. I think that you get that data once you get the icon of a Waze, you get that data already. So there's no communicating backwards. But we honestly don't know. So you need to verify that.
Okay. And another question: do you think that any kind of anti-automation technique in the server side could prevent this? When you are mounting this attack, do you look like a regular user in the application, or do you look like someone that goes really, really, really fast?
Right. So that's also a great question because we did offer some mitigation that is like that. So we said that Waze can do more to verify that this is a user behavior just from its behavior, right? And because we did have cases where the Wazers drove really, really fast, but they were still marked as legitimate Wazers. So you can do a lot there, right? You can see that all of our bots were created, bam, at one instance, all of them together in the same location, and they were all driving together. And we thought initially, well, maybe Waze is catching that, and then we started trying to split them apart, but eventually found out that this is not the case. We were able to mount the attack with a bunch of Wazers all created instantly and driving together. So they performed initially no effort in trying to remove automation, in trying to make sure that this is not a machine driving there. So initially, no. Right now, I don't know. I hope that they're doing a better job. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. What's the maximum we're able to instantiate? Yeah, it was per server. It was 15, right? 15 per server. Yeah.
So was the limitation the server or 15?
Per one server, yeah.
The server is there.
No, the server is our server. Yeah. Yeah, one computer. Just. Yeah. So one computer, 15. So if you want more, you need more computers. But 15 is enough. That's it. Okay, thank you very much.